Hey Vasa athletes, I'm Dan Daly, and this is Vasa's Lane 9 Dryland workout series. Today's workout is a full body strength and conditioning circuit using the Vasa Trainer Pro. We're going to cover 10 movements, starting with 3 sets, working up to a potential of 8, and anywhere from 8 repetitions to 20 repetitions depending on your ability. The 10 movements are going to be paired into 5 compound sets, with the first exercise being more multi-joint and multi-muscle, and the second exercise being more single joint and single muscle. We're going to start with legs, which should be the most physically challenged, and work our way down to core. In dryland training, we often focus on swim-specific exercises, but it's important not to neglect the other joint actions. So we're going to go through a full body routine that opposes some of the repetitive stresses we're going to see in the pool and help us balance out some of the musculature around the joints and decrease the risk of injury. So go ahead and follow along as we go through these 10 exercises in a continuous circuit. Beginning with legs, we'll add the power platform to the trainer. Make sure it's nice and tight. And starting on our backs on the trainer, we're going to do split squats on the power platform. One foot staggered in front of the other, the front foot's nice and flat. The back foot, you're up on your toe. You're going to press out with both legs with an emphasis on that lead foot, and then back down for 8 repetitions. I'm going to inhale as I come down, exhale up. And then switch legs. Stagger my other foot forward, front foot's nice and flat, up on my back toe. Inhale at the bottom, exhale, push away for 8 reps. Choose a resistance and an incline that's challenging for you. The last 2 to 3 reps should be a challenge, and work your way up to 20 repetitions and then add a set. Let's go ahead and take the platform off. And we'll go right into our second leg exercise, a rear foot elevated deadlift. We're going to place our laces on the back of the bench. 80 to 90% of our weight is on the front foot. We'll start nice and tall. Then you're going to push your hips back, sit into your hips, bow forward, eyes and chest parallel to the floor, and then back up. It's important the spine stays nice and long. We want to think hips back and then hips forward. Go ahead and do 8 reps on one leg. Switch feet, laces down on the bench. With an inhale, push my hips forward, nice long spine. Exhale, stand up. The spine stays nice and long and neutral throughout the movement, focusing on pushing the hips back and then extending them forward. The split squats on the platform are more of a knee dominant pattern focusing on the quads, and the rear foot elevated exercise is more of a hip dominant pattern focusing on the glutes. Between the two, you're working every muscle in the lower body and focusing on all the major joints. From here, we'll move on to the upper body with a prone double arm butterfly pull, but the emphasis will be on the return with a nice slow eccentric or negative return back to emphasize some of the opposing musculature for the typical pull and balance out the tissue around the joint. Using the pulley system and handles, we'll bring the bench up to us. Laying down on the bench with a nice taut body line to start. We'll begin with that early vertical forearm, hands down, elbows up, pull through, and then we're going to return as slow as we can back to the front. A little bit faster through the pull, down to the hips, and then a nice slow eccentric or negative return back. Imagine your hands are tracing a line along the surface of the water as you return. From here, we'll go right into a tricep extension. Elbows by your side, bend at 90 degrees. We're going to press our hands back to our hips and squeeze, and then return back. Isolating the elbow here and the triceps with a little bit of shoulder extension, again to balance out the posterior muscles of the shoulder. Next, seated on the bench, we'll go into a neutral grip row to work our back and our biceps. And we'll couple this with a crossover high pull to work the posterior shoulder and upper back. We'll grab the handles and bring the bench to us. Straddle the bench, sit up nice and tall. Neutral grip, palms facing one another, nice and tall. With an inhale, you'll drive your elbows back, pull the handles to you, and then return. Perform a minimum of 8 repetitions, and then we'll go right into the crossover high pull. So this is more of a high row. We're going to crisscross the cables, and then leading with the elbows above the shoulders, we're going to pull nice and high. You'll feel the emphasis here more on the posterior shoulder and upper back. You'll notice my palms are down for this one. Next, turning around on the bench to focus on the opposing muscle groups. We'll have a seat and we're going to go into a chest press coupled with a chest fly. Pulling to the bench to us, we'll sit up nice and tall. We'll use the same neutral grip here. Inhale at the bottom, then we'll exhale and push away, locking the elbows out, staying nice and tall. Return with control each time. From there, we'll go into a chest fly. Isolating more of the shoulder now and the pecs. We'll allow the elbows to fall back, staying nice and tall, and then squeeze the handles together. The elbows are slightly bent here, but fixed. And again, we're isolating the shoulders and the pecs. Should feel a nice stretch at the bottom, and then a squeeze at the top. And then finally for core, we're going to pair dead bugs with reverse crunches. Starting on our back on the bench, we'll bring the bench back to us. You're going to lie on your back, hands over your shoulders, knees over your hips. We're going to tuck our chin and flatten our lower back to the bench. Then we're going to reach overhead with our right arm as we extend the left leg, bring it back to the middle, and alternate sides. The challenge here is only moving 2 limbs at once and keeping the chin tucked and the lower back flat to the mat. Then we'll come to the edge of the bench. We'll roll back, head supported, hold on to the top of the bench with both hands. We'll start with the toes pointed, and then we'll tuck the knees into the chest, rolling the pelvis off the bench, and then back out nice and long. It's common in a time-constrained training schedule to only focus on the most immediate demands of your sport. But it's also important to round out your fitness and consider some of the other pieces to reduce the likelihood of injury and fill in some performance gaps. So go ahead and give this 10 exercise circuit a shot. Let us know what you think in the comments. Keep training and look out for more workouts from Vasa's Lane 9 Dryland workout series. Thank you.